verse 9, which talks about the gift of faith. We should all ask from God to have the gift of faith. Why do I say that? Because the gift of faith means that you will never lack of faith. You will see things different from what you have seen them before. You see, a true Christian lives by faith and not by sight. That we find out in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. You see, the church for so long has forgotten about faith. We hear it, we teach it, we preach it, but we don't live it. You see, when Joseph prophesied by faith about the departure of the children of Israel, he also spoke about his bones making it to the promised land. Then Joseph died. And let me tell you something. The reason why the children of Israel were for so long in Egypt was because when Joseph died, their faith died with him. When they were in Israel, they lost hope. They lost faith. They forgot about the one who promised them the promised land. How many of us in the church have lost faith? We come to church, we come to the services, but really inside of us, we are losing, we're lacking faith. The first problem that we see, we go crazy. We don't know what to do. Oh God, why have you forsaken me? We forget about the faith that was given to us through Jesus Christ. You see, something we have to understand that we have to act by faith. We have to live by faith. You see, we have to go into the atmosphere where God lives. This reminds me of a story. There was this young couple that had their baby. Their baby was 7 months old. All of a sudden, the child started getting a high fever. And the fever wouldn't come down. They would give them medicine. And the fever kept getting worse and worse and worse. So they decided to take that child to the emergency room. As they're going in their way, their car broke down. It was a rainy night. So they decided then they should walk. But as they were walking by, somebody stopped by and gave them a ride. When they made it to the hospital, and the doctors started running tests on the child, the hours passed. There was no word from the doctors. Another hour passed. No word from the doctor. After a couple of more hours, the doctor comes to speak to the parents of the child. He told them to sit down. They sit down. And the doctor said, I have really bad news. After running the test, we found out that your child has cancer in the blood, has leukemia. And he was already in the last stage. And we also find out that he has a bacteria in his brain. We're sorry, but there's nothing that we can do for that child. In 24 hours, your child will die. Those are the worst news that a parent could hear about their child. You see, in that moment, everything became dark. In that moment, they found themselves in a corner with no exit. In that moment, all hope was lost. Because they had hope in the doctors to be able to tell them that the child was going to be alright. You see, sometimes we need to start looking for hope in man and look for hope in the one who saved you. Sometimes we get so used to church that we lost hope in Jesus Christ. You see, I'm tired of going to churches where everybody's sick, where everybody's in bondage. You see, that's not the church that Jesus Christ left. The church that Jesus Christ left, there were healing, miracles, and wonders happening day by day. And people were adding to the church day by day. Why? Because the glory of God was with them. Let me tell you something. These last days that we're living in, the glory of God will fall upon the church. His people had lost hope. We got used to church. We got used to hearing brother so-and-so is in the hospital. We got used to hearing sister so-and-so is sick. We got used to hearing brother so-and-so is not feeling well today, so let's pray for him. You see, we have to be the church of Christ. A church, when somebody walks through that door, if they are sick in that instant, in that moment, the power and the glory of God will fall upon that person and they will be healed. You see, Joseph, he said that he prophesied his future and the future of the children of Israel in faith. Decades and centuries before they even made it to the promised land. You see, and it was that prophetic word of faith that did not let the bones of Joseph disintegrate. You see, just when Moses left with the children of Israel, that he took Joseph's bones. You see, those bones stayed intact. Those bones made it to the promised land. You understand? Those bones were in perfect condition. Why? Because the prophetic word that was spoken over those bones. Even before he died. You see, sometimes you need to prophesy to yourself that you will make it out of that situation. That you will make it to what God has promised you. You need to learn to use your faith. Faith is not only for the preacher or the ministers. Faith is